Hi guys, my name's Becca and welcome to my December wrap-up. Considering it was Christmas, December was actually quite a good reading month for me. I managed to read, I don't know how many books, I'm not going to lie to you, I do not know how many books I managed to read, but I managed quite a few. And what I'm going to do is start with the winter quest, because I was a winter knight for that winter quest, go through Kaboomathon, and then what I read for the rest of the month for the magical readathon, and just in general. The first thing I read was The Gilded Wolves, and now this was actually a reread, because usually I don't reread books, but I wanted to reread this one because I was interrupted every 30 seconds the first time I tried to read it, so I reread it again in December, and I reasonably enjoyed it. I have to admit, I enjoyed it more the first time round, but I have this with all rereads. I generally enjoy books a lot more the first time round than I do the second, third, fourth time round reading them. That being said, I still did quite enjoy myself, and I did give it 4 stars, and I do think I will be continuing on with the series, but it's not going to be a complete priority for me, I have to admit. The second thing I read for the winter quest, which also doubled up for Kaboomathon, is Legion number 4 for We Are Many. Now this is part of the X-Men Legacy series. It's actually the final one in this mini-series, and it was amazing. I loved how it wrapped up everything to do with this series. I loved how it brought in the X-Men, how David, the main character of Legion, really sort of accepted who his father is and how different he is from his father. It was amazing. My only thing is that I'm still not sure on the ending. Genuinely, I'm still not sure on the ending. I have looked it up and I'm pretty sure he does come back in another series, so it's fine, but I'm still a bit like iffy on the ending, I have to admit. But in saying that, I did also give it 4 stars. Also for Kaboomathon, I managed to read volume 2 of Fables, which is sort of like a more adult version of Once Upon a Time, and again, it was an amazing comic filled with loads of twists and turns. I love seeing the relationship more between Snow White and Rose Red. I love seeing those kind of relationships. I love seeing how the different animal characters from Fairyland have been a feeling after being put in our world compared to fairy world. I love seeing all of that, and I did give this one also 4 stars. I also managed to read Monstrous Volume 1. Now this one again was a reread. I did read it a couple of years ago, and I have to admit it was another one of my rereads aren't as good as the first time round feelings again, but in saying that, I did still enjoy myself, and I'm pretty sure I gave it 4 stars, and I did enjoy it enough to buy the rest of the series, which will be coming up in my book haul later in this week, later in this month, not entirely sure yet, but I still enjoyed it. I'm intrigued enough to carry on, so I enjoyed it, essentially. And then the final thing I managed to read for the Kaboomathon was the Hellboy Omnibus. Now this was a really fun comic as well. It was absolutely massive. It was sort of made up of a whole load of Hellboy short stories that did sort of all blend into one massive great big story at the end, and I have to admit I really enjoyed myself. I grew up on Hellboy when I was a kid. I loved the Ron Perlman films. I absolutely loved them. Still haven't seen the new movie, slightly scared to see the new movie, but I love Hellboy enough to actually start on the comics just to see what they're all about, and I did thoroughly enjoy myself reading these. I love seeing Hellboy's origins and comparing it to the movie and all of these different adventures and all these different scrapes he gets into, and again, 4-star read. As for the rest of the month, I managed to read The Devouring Gray. Now this one I'm iffy on, I have to admit. I think I gave it 3 stars in the end because I enjoyed it, but I had several problems with it, like the fact that the main character just sort of accepted everything going on really easily and stuff like this. I need a bit more of sort of characters going, wait, no, and sort of fighting against what's happening to them. I guess I need a bit more of that in my books to fully enjoy them, but I have to admit I really enjoyed the writing style. I really enjoyed the storyline of it and the characters, and I'm pretty sure I gave it 3 stars. It was just a couple of things that kind of bother me a little bit throughout. I also finally managed to finish the Unbound, which is amazing because I have been waiting to try and finish the Unbound for a very long time, since mid-November, and I finally managed to actually finish it. I'm pretty sure I would have enjoyed this a lot more if I managed to read this like I normally do in the space of 2 or 3 days instead of literally a month, but I still did really enjoy the Unbound. It's another V.E. Schwab brilliant book as well, and I gave it 4 stars. I also managed to finish I Hate Fairyland Volume 4, Sadly Never After. Now this is the final one in the I Hate Fairyland series that I have admittedly been putting off for a very long time, because obviously I didn't want this to end because it's such a fun comic. I absolutely love it, but it was an amazing end, I have to admit. I really enjoyed the ending. I loved the final line of this. I loved the art style, and it was just generally great. It was absolutely brilliant, and I did give it 5 stars. And then the final thing I read was the Uncanny X-Force Volume 1, The Apocalypse Solution, which has been on my TBR for a very long time, to say the least. Like, it's been on my list for like 2 years, and so it could have fit for like the last part of the Magical Readathon, but I had to read it for chapter 4 instead of chapter 5, which is a bit annoying, but I'm working my way around it. But I still really enjoyed this book. I love seeing the X-Force themselves, because I feel like I don't get enough X-Force. Again, this is actually set after House of M, which makes me very happy, I'm not going to lie, because obviously House of M is very much my favourite comic and my favourite X-Men story ever, so I thoroughly enjoyed that section of it. And it was just great to see Apocalypse and how the X-Force deal with it and how they interact with each other and everything. There was a couple of characters I wasn't sure who they were, but I'm now really looking forward to looking them up and finding out more about them, because that's one of the joys of the X-Men, because there's so many of them. You can just read any comic and go, oh, I don't know you, I'll look you up, and then you end up with a whole new character to follow, which is amazing good fun for me. So in total, I did really enjoy this book. It was my final book of the year and the decade. I actually read it on Christmas morning, I'm not going to lie, and I had a great time reading it, and I gave it 4 stars. And that's all the books I read in December, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up, comment down below with what you read in December, I'd love to know. I'll also leave a link down below to all my social media if you want to check out. If you want to see any more of my videos, please click subscribe here, and over here will be the link to my previous video. But until next time guys, bye!